But anyways, family, now for our feature story of the day. Here's the latest with Bitcoin. Wired Magazine actually just recently interviewed Max Keiser, and Max discusses why we won't touch these Bitcoin ETFs. Any Bitcoin purist won't touch these Bitcoin ETFs. He also says that the government will seize all Bitcoin, ETF Bitcoin, in the name of national security. So you have been warned. Here we go. Here's the latest from Max Keiser, as he tweeted here. The ETFs will have a mosquito effect, carrying the mind virus of Bitcoin far and wide. He also tweeted here, number one, the government seizes the ETF for national security. Number two, before they send you your USD. Number three, price moves up $100,000. Number four, you pay tax on the gain from the payout. And with what's left, you buy Bitcoin at the price of $100,000 per coin. Higher. Number five, the price crashes. And number six, you're now sitting in a net losing position from where you started. That's right. He says you are not protected against government seizure, and the US government plans to seize all the Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin in the interest of national security. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment. Now, here's word for word transcribed for the interview he did with Wired Magazine. I want to read this to you because it is very insightful, and shout out to the high priest. Here's the interview, word for word, what he had to share. A lot of good questions asked, so shout out to Wired Magazine. So here you go. Let me just get right into the questions asked. So Max says, hi, Joel, sure, I'm doing this on my phone, yada, yada, yada. A quote of mine you see pop up on social media: you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. Preach. Keeping this in mind regarding your questions. Number one, the mosquito effect. TradeFi is carrying the mind virus of Bitcoin far and wide, and this is the first time ever retail investors have front run Wall Street. So congratulations to all my Bitcoin hodlers that front ran Wall Street. Well done. Like Richard Dawkins, the selfish gene theory, the DNA, or basic unit of one Satoshi of Bitcoin, is working its way in the body and mind of our human economy and society with only one objective: eliminated the threat of fiat money and central banks. In other words, BlackRock is doing the work Bitcoin wants them to do. They are drones in this equation. Number two, Bitcoin is proof of work, not proof of stake. So the incentive model is different than fiat money or altcoins or even gold. A concentration of Bitcoin gives the owner no ability to change Bitcoin. With fiat money, the more you have, the more ability and influence you have to change the laws in your favor. In light of this, concentration of Bitcoin poses no threat to Bitcoin whatsoever. Number three, this gets back to the question. Game theory is playing out exactly as observers of Bitcoin have been predicting since inception. The ETFs are drones doing Satoshi's work. They are motivated by greed, but Bitcoin alchemically transforms greed into altruism via the Nakamoto consensus model, and we all benefit. Shout out to my Bitcoin alchemists out there, family. You know what I'm saying? Number four, on the contrary, Bitcoin's ideological model is transforming the world. I see it happening firsthand in El Salvador, where we advised the President Bukele on the Bitcoin policy. That's right, Keiser is Bukele's right-hand man and senior Bitcoin advisor. The transformation going on here is remarkable. El Salvador has become the new shining city on the hill. The new Statue of Liberty is the volcano in El Salvador. Now, they asked him a couple of follow-ups to clarify, do you think the ETFs are a helpful vehicle for spreading Bitcoin further afield, and that the upside is worth enough to offset the counterparty and seizure risks incurred by these new Bitcoin investors via the ETFs? So listen up. This is in regards to the seizure and confiscation of the Bitcoin ETF. Max responded, the seizure risk doesn't impact Bitcoin. It only impacts those foolish enough to ignore these risks. It doesn't concentrate power and influence because the underlying incentive model rejects centralization of all types. Bitcoin's path is unstoppable. It is designed as a fiat money and central bank killer. That's right. This is highly disruptive, and we'll see the global financial landscape change dramatically with many unexpected winners and losers. And with respect to the objective of eliminating the threat of fiat and central banks, are you not concerned that the ETFs will line the pockets of the kind of old school financial institutions emblematic of the fiat system? And continuing, the beauty of Bitcoin is that lining the pockets of bankers with fiat money whose purchasing power goes to zero against Bitcoin is beautifully aligned with the greater good. Lining these bankers' pockets with Bitcoin has no impact on Bitcoin or any negative impact on society at large because Bitcoin is not proof of stake. That is, having lots of Bitcoin does not give anyone more power over the network. Now, you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. We are witnessing, thanks to Bitcoin, the failure of the 300-year experiment with central banks and fiat money. If you want to see where this goes, look to El Salvador. That has replaced the US as the moral and human rights standard bearer of the world. So there you have it. My crypto fam coming directly from the high priest, Max Keiser. Let me know if you agree or disagree with his sentiment that they will seize the Bitcoin through the ETF. And speaking of that, I'm actually going to share a bonus tweet with you. This was just January 11th. Ali Bradley shared, breaking: the state of Texas has seized all city property along the riverfront at the border of the Eagle Pass area under governor's emergency powers. It's called eminent domain. I know that. I used to be a real estate appraiser. That means the government has the power to seize your real estate for the best interest of the state or the government. And it happens all the freaking time, including federal processing locations and equipment. This is according to multiple sources. All access to the property is limited to state authority only. Border Patrol will be permitted to enter the property to remove their equipment and supplies. Agents will not have access to the area unless there is medical emergency. I am told that the state plans to start arresting all who cross for criminal trespass. This is not under new illegal entry law, SB4. They have been arresting for criminal trespass for months. And here's the official statement. Texas is holding the line at our southern border with miles of additional razor wire and anti-climb barriers to deter the record high levels of illegal immigration invited by President Biden's reckless open border policies. It's all by design, family. Alex Jones has been blowing the whistle on this. Make sure you're following him, because child trafficking is a real deal and the government perpetuates it. Yes, I said it. The Biden administration allows unfettered access for Mexican cartels to smuggle people into our country. This is fact. Texas will continue to deploy Texas National Guard soldiers, yada, yada, yada. So here's what Max wrote in response to this tweet. And you don't think the government will seize Bitcoin held in Bitcoin ETFs? Brother, please. Broski, please. What do you think regarding all of this? Let me know, crypto fam, and I'll read your comments out loud. And I greatly appreciate everyone's support. Pump the likes, pump the stream, and let's freaking go.